Hello, and welcome to that episode of Todd Talks. When Todd talks, people listen. Hopefully, you bastich. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, in what might just be the most insane death battle in history, which is saying something, we are going to be talking about Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze versus Lobo. Now, I'm not exaggerating when I say that this is one of the most insane death battles ever. And I am surprised that I never even thought about this death battle. I like both of these characters and I know them well enough, but it was just, I never thought about putting them against each other for various reasons. And yet when I researched them, and I went really deep in the research here, I found out a very interesting truth, which I already knew about, but this basically confirmed it. This is a fight where both of these characters technically cannot die unless under very specific circumstances. So this is not just a battle about their powers, as you'll find out, but this is a battle about who can deal a death blow in a very specific way. Ready for this? All right, let's dive in. Johnny Blaze. All right, also played by the amazing Nicolas Cage. Okay, let's ride. I like the first Ghost Rider movie. All right, I love the first Ghost Rider movie. It was the second one that was terrible. All right. Anyway, so Johnny Blaze was the son of a daredevil, Barton Blaze, and after his father died, he was taken in by Crash Simpson, another stuntman of the carnival he worked for, and he continued his stuntman dreams until Crash's wife died and made him promise never to stunt ride again. He held this promise even after Crash had gotten cancer, and he begged Johnny to continue his work. Desperate for Crash to stay alive, he went to the occult and summoned Mephisto, one of the lords of the underworld and a very important character in a Ghost Rider's history. He made a deal with Johnny, saying, "I will let Crash survive this cancer if you agree to be my servant for life." Johnny agreed. Crash survived cancer and died in a motorcycle accident literally the next day. If you saw the first Ghost Rider movie, it was basically that. And then the problem set in more because not only was Johnny his servant, his family line is apparently filled with Ghost Riders, to the extent that his mother was so afraid of him becoming Ghost Rider that she left him and his father, took his brother and sister away to make sure that they weren't around him, and then made a deal with Mephisto to try and get him out of the Ghost Rider bargain. Before he even made it, didn't work. He became Ghost Rider anyway. Specifically, he became infused with a spirit of vengeance known as Zarathos. Zarathos was a demon in the underworld who tried to rise to power, and eventually Mephisto tricked him and got into servitude. Plot twist, though, Zarathos is actually an angel. Second Ghost Rider movie. Confirm this. You know what I mean. They stated this in the second movie. Anyway, but yes, he is actually an angel that was turned into a demon, corrupted by Mephisto. You following all this? Comics, everybody. So he was infused with the spirit of vengeance, and because of the fusion of these two, he became the Ghost Rider, a supernatural entity that seeks vengeance on those who are wicked. Now, at one point in time, Johnny couldn't control when he turned into Ghost Rider. See the first movie. Eventually, though, he was able to just transform at will when the situation arose. This led to many problems for Johnny, not the least of which was he didn't want to be the spirit of vengeance. He is very much a hero, anti-hero, an anti-hero burdened with the power that he is, I was about to say blessed with, but we all know where it came from, that he was given. He does not like the Ghost Rider. He does not like Zarathos. And repeatedly throughout Ghost Rider's history, he has tried to rid himself of Zarathos with very disastrous results, including multiple other Ghost Riders being made because he just wants to get rid of Zarathos. Eventually, though, they did, kind of work out a deal to themselves to where Zarathos won't take over his body like he used to, and Johnny will go on his avenging mission to purge the world of evil. To do this, they use Zarathos' abilities mixed with Johnny's body to create the obvious Ghost Rider figure, but a landscape of special abilities, not the least of which is his fire. His fire obviously comes from the underworld because he is a corrupted angel/demon thing. And that fire can do all sorts of incredible things, including being controlled by Johnny/Ghost Rider. Um, at any point in time. He likes to surround people in a ring of fire because it's cool. He can project fire out of his skull, out of his hands. He can create chains. Yeah, you just thought he had a chain? Oh, no, no, no. He creates the chain and can make it infinitely sized, control it with his mind, and just do all sorts of weird stuff. Oh, you thought that was the weirdest part? Oh, no. Remember his motorcycle? You know, the one he could transform into a super epic motorcycle? Oh, that's not the motorcycle being transformed. That's just fire just creating a bike out of nowhere. All right? Yes, he can transform bikes, but if he needs to, he will just fire magic himself a motorcycle. A motorcycle that can go faster than Mjolnir when it's thrown by Thor. Yeah, and by that I mean, if you recall the Thor Wonder Woman fight, this oh my gosh, the hammer is stupid fast. All right, because Thor is literally throwing it and letting momentum carry him, right? So he threw the hammer at Ghost Rider, who wasn't even on his motorcycle at the time. He got on the motorcycle, and through the panels, you see, okay, here's Ghost Rider, here's Mjolnir. It starts out like this, and then Ghost Rider just pulls away until the momentum dies out and goes back to Thor. That's how fast this bike is. And like the chain, it can be controlled specifically through Johnny/Ghost Rider's mind. Now, if you're wondering why I'm saying Johnny/Ghost Rider, it's important to remember that these are two different individuals. Ghost Rider is Johnny plus Zarathos. And as I noted earlier, Zarathos can take control of Johnny's body. Johnny doesn't like it when he does that, and Johnny constantly fights for control of the Ghost Rider form. But there are cases when Zarathos will take over, and I will get back to that in a bit. But that's what I mean by that. In terms of just raw strength, Ghost Rider has been proven able to exceed strength of over 25 tons lifting force. But as Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, noted, his power is technically limitless. The only caveat is that it has to be focused through a body. In this case, Johnny Blaze. And so technically, while it's shown his upper echelon is 25 tons via him ripping apart steel and ripping off various other buildings and everything, technically he can do a lot more than that. But just for base sake, 25 tons is very impressive. So, and then there's his speed. As noted, his bike can go faster than Mjolnir, but he's also pretty fast himself. He's able to dodge enchanted sniper round bullets, sniper bullets, whatever. Which I don't know how you calculate an enchanted sniper rifle bullet, but I'm pretty sure it's faster than a regular one. And being that those ones are supposed to go, basically miles in seconds, that's pretty impressive that he can dodge that. And you can bet that with enchanted ones, he can go even faster. He has fought all sorts of Avengers and supernatural threats. He has taken down multiple lords of the underworld, including Mephisto, Lucifer, Baal, and Blackheart. He was even the king of the underworld, and is currently the king of the underworld, Marvel Comics, spoilers. He has, like I say, he's battled the Avengers. He actually made some of the Avengers afraid of him because of how powerful he is. He literally petrified Tiger, not like the stone kind of petrification, but he burned Tiger with his fire, and she was literally afraid to go after him, even with Captain America rooting her on. So she got over it, but still, that's impressive. And he has fought the Hulk. Yeah, in World War Hulk, Johnny forced Zarathos to work with him to go and fight the Hulk. And it was an intense battle. He actually hurt the Hulk. And though the Hulk won, it was a technicality win. And I'll explain that too in a bit. Now, obviously, there is the big trump card of Ghost Rider, and that is quite simply the penance stare. All right. Now, apparently, according to Chad Boomstick, the penance stare is one of the reasons why Ghost Rider hasn't been in Death Rider. That's a never mind. It hasn't been a death battle in the past because not a lot of people can stand up to that. The penance stare is literally defined as a torture that makes a person witness their sins and the hurt they have done unto others for all eternity. Which I absolutely loved when they did it in the first Ghost Rider movie with like the whole like their eyes got scalded over and they get, they're mumbling wreck and everything. And lest you think that this just works on petty criminals and everything, he actually did it to not one but two Sorcerer Supremes. He did it to Dr. Voodoo, Brother Voodoo, and he did it to Dr. Stephen Strange. In fact, he almost killed Stephen Strange because of the penance stare. All right. So, and once you are locked in the penance stare, you cannot get out by your own means. It is literally impossible. For a Brother Voodoo, who obviously didn't die there, he for some reason was teaming with Doctor Doom at the time, and Doctor Doom did a spell that helped him release the penance stare, but it was outside help. Brother Voodoo, Doctor Voodoo, whatever, was incapacitated. He was a mumbling wreck. And Stephen Strange had to also be saved by Ghost Rider after he realized that he did the penance stare incorrectly because Strange was innocent of a certain matter. Long story, it's comics. But yeah, so outside help, you cannot get out of the penance stare. But it even goes further than that. The penance stare technically isn't his greatest weapon. Technically, it is if you want to end the fight. But if he decides, he can actually rid you of all sin. Yeah, he can literally look into your body and absorb all the sin that you have done, which will make you one of two things. It'll either make you an emotionless shell of a person, or it'll make you incredibly repentant. That's kind of insane. And I'm still only scratching the surface of all the things that Ghost Rider has done. His durability is insane. He cannot be hurt by physical means, and he cannot be shot because there's barely anything to hit. He cannot be blasted. It doesn't affect him. Brute force does nothing. Magical attacks can hurt him in certain circumstances, but it's rarely consistent. The only thing that can kill him is heavenly weapons, like literal weapons made by the gods in heaven above, whichever heaven is in power at the time of Marvel Comics, okay? So, and this has been proven multiple times in the past. Now, there are exceptions to this rule, including Punisher using Ghost Rider's own chain, because remember, Zarathos is an angel, his own chain against Ghost Rider. So there's that, but it wasn't a permanent thing. And, Mephisto was able to curse Johnny again because Johnny just can't catch a break. So, yeah, when Johnny comes to town, you better be blazing in the other direction. So yeah, and Ghost Rider honestly is one of my favorite characters in Marvel Comics. And when Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 came out, he had one of the most BA intro sequences that I've ever seen. And I'm like, oh yeah, Ghost Rider's on my team. So, yeah. All right, Lobo. Oh my gosh. I loved the preview that the Death Battle did, and so I'm only going to loosely repeat that because they just did it way too well. So Lobo was born on Zarnia. Now you might think because of Lobo that Zarnia is basically Las Vegas, sin, debauchery, and all that kind of thing. But instead, it's actually one of the most peaceful planets in the universe. Shock. And they were so peaceful, so non-violent that various things had not happened to them in lots of millennia, including insanity, disease, and that kind of stuff. And then Lobo came along. Lobo was born, and many people think it was the universe's balancing out of the equation, except they kind of tipped it too far because Lobo decided to just wreck everything, kill a lot of people. He literally drove his midwife insane. Midwife, as in the person who delivered him. I'm not even going to speak about what he did to his mother. And as he grew up, he just realized that this planet was just not worthy of him. So he literally created a swarm of insects that would kill everyone on Zarnia except for him. He did it for a science project, and he gave himself an A. So yes, he is the last Zarnian. And what does the last Zarnian do when not destroying his own planet? Why, he's a bounty hunter, of course. Lobo is one of the most feared individuals in the entire universe. If you do not know his name, you are not paying attention, which is a Krypton reference. Thank you for that. But he has gone across the galaxy and the universe and other dimensions even to go and just kill wreck, have fun, and do whatever the frack he wants because he's mother fracking Lobo, son of a bastich. Um, so this eventually led him to Earth, among other places, and it was revealed just how strong he is. He is so strong and so fast that he can tag the Flash with his chain that he uses, which is just a regular chain, technically. He can go toe-to-toe with Superman and has done so on multiple occasions, including nearly killing him when he was drunk. Lobo being drunk, not Superman. This is Superman after all. But yes, he almost killed Superman while he was intoxicated. And then when he thought he was done, he was just like, ugh, and he passed out because he was drunk. So he has fought off Wonder Woman. He has fought off multiple members of the magical community all at once, including Zatanna, Enchantress, and Dr. Fate. He has fought multiple Green Lanterns, including Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, Biddard, Kilowog, and broken many of their constructs, which, if you recall, a construct is only destroyed if the willpower fades. So Lobo literally had more willpower than a Green Lantern. Multiple Green Lanterns, in fact. He's gone up against Etrigan and the Blue Devil. He has fought multiple entities, including gods and devils. He even killed gods and devils. He once went into the underworld and killed so many demons that he was literally kicked out and sent to heaven, where he killed gods, and they kicked him out of heaven, which is a problem, because if you don't go to heaven and you don't go to the underworld, there's no real middle ground except for the living world, which is why Lobo can't die. Ever. Period. Really? No, I'm not kidding. Like, this is in comics canon. He was kicked out of the underworld, is kicked out of heaven. He cannot die. And if you still don't believe me, look up the recent Teen Titans arc where he actually went after his daughter, Crush, who he didn't know he had. No comment. He literally said, Crush said, "I'm going to kill you." He's like, "Good luck. I can't die." So, yeah, that's canon. But that's another problem. So even if theoretically he could die, how are you going to kill him? Like I said, he can think so fast that he can tag the Flash. He can go toe to toe with Superman, Wonder Woman, the Green Lanterns, multiple entities. He's even fought some of the new gods apparently, and barely anything happened to him. He has an insane healing factor, so much so that his own blood can regenerate into another Lobo. Yeah, Lobo. He can literally clone himself, copy himself, and do it near infinitely. Though it was technically taken away from him power-wise, but it came back because comics. So, yeah. He can, if someone were to draw blood, you would literally create another Lobo. And who wants that? He has such durability that he can take blows from Superman and Wonder Woman and the Green Lanterns and Aquaman, and he can just keep on going. He's been blasted by various amounts of energy, barely was phased, was attacked by multiple magical entities, the ones I mentioned earlier, at once, didn't even break stride, fought gods and devils, didn't break stride, and so on and so forth. So even if you could find a way to kill him without the whole, being banished from the other side of the world, how are you going to kill him? Exactly. So yeah, this is why Lobo is one of the most feared bounty hunters in the universe, because you can't avoid him. He has supernatural tracking senses that allows him to track his contracts throughout the universe. He won't stop until he completes his deal, which is arguably one of the most interesting things about him. Despite him being a total dick and doing whatever the heck he wants, he believes in the power of your word. He believes that if you have made a promise to somebody, you need to keep it, which is why he will never break a contract, even if it ends in his death, which can't happen. So, and I think all except for one time he has done that, and it was like a very specific circumstance. But other times he has kept his word to the ends of the earth, to the end of the universe, and back. He is just that good. Like, for example, One time, he actually took a vow of nonviolence and became the head priest of the Church of the Triple-Headed Fish God. Yes, that's a real thing. And he only took violence back up when he got permission from the triple-headed fish god, to do so. And then he found out that an item that he just so happened to be in possession of was able to kill the fish god, and so he killed the fish god. He once was hired to protect what he didn't realize until too late was another Zarnian. Remember, he's the last Zarnian, but somehow one of them got off the planet before he destroyed it. Just so happened to be his 4th grade teacher. Kid you not, comics. He defended her from all sorts of threats, then sent out a message to his boss, who hired him for the contract, saying, I'm going to take a vacation on a planet for a little bit before delivering the package to you. Everyone basically in the universe who wanted him dead heard this, went to the planet, he killed them all, delivered his teacher to his boss. Once the contract was complete, killed the teacher. It's Lobo. What are you gonna do? And just as impressive, and I find this very, very important. In the New 52, DC Comics decided, hey, what if Lobo wasn't actually Lobo? What if Lobo was a name that he took, and there's another Lobo out there? So they made basically the Twilight version of Lobo, and said that, oh yeah, I'm the real Lobo, and blah, blah, blah. Fans hated this so much, they literally locked the new Lobo in a bottle in Brainiac's ship, and brought the other Lobo back, and he hasn't left since. So, you don't screw with the main man, all right? So, yeah, it's just, he's freaking insane. And yet, he's also a genius level intellect. He is able to do such compound physics equations that he was able to tag the Flash doing his, running around bit. He is able to build any kind of weapon that he puts his mind to. And he has weapons that blows up planets. His bike, the Space Hog, can literally travel across galaxies, escape the pull of a black hole, which is fast enough to capture light. That's why it's black, and so on and so forth. So clearly he's smarter than people let on. So here's the problem. This is almost literally an irresistible force, Ghost Rider, versus an immovable object, Lobo. This is more complicated than Hulk Doomsday. I'm banking on it. All right? Because as noted, the only way to truly kill the Ghost Rider is through heavenly weapons, or, slight technicality, you can separate Zarathos from Johnny Blaze via a magical spell. It's been done multiple times in the past. Lobo can't die. Banished from heaven and the underworld. How do you solve this death battle? Here's how. Context. I cast your minds back to Starscream versus Rainbow Dash. Yeah, you didn't think I was going there, did you? Starscream technically did not die. His spark lived, and then Rainbow Dash swallowed it. But because he could not continue the fight, he lost. And it's been stated in the Death Battle cast multiple times that there are circumstances to where it's about not just dying, but being unable to continue the fight. Another example of this would be M. Bison versus Shao Kahn. M. Bison has the ability to die and yet move his spirit to another body. So technically he wasn't dead, and then Shao Kahn absorbed him because that's what he does. He devours souls. And this is what I think is going to happen here. Lobo has an incredible arsenal. He does not have heavenly weapons. He has killed gods, but that's not the same as killing Ghost Rider. All right? And those were gods in the DC universe, not the gods of the Marvel universe, which, yes, gods of the Marvel universe can die. Anyone who read the Avengers No Road Home found that out. So there's plenty of ways you can kill a god in the Marvel universe, but Lobo does not have on him a heavenly weapon, nor does he use magic to the extent to where he can use a spell to separate Zarathos, which arguably he wouldn't know anyway, nor would he use anyway, because he wouldn't know that Zarathos is within Johnny Blaze. Okay, because remember, no knowledge of the others. However, Johnny has a special power because of Zarathos. He can see into the soul of a person and get all the information about their life. That's how the Ghost Rider knows who is guilty or innocent, that kind of thing. He can literally see into your soul and mind and definitely understand what your life has been like. That's how he knows who's guilty and who's innocent. So, with that said, he can do the penance stare on Lobo, and I do believe it would work for a few reasons. Number one, while Lobo is invulnerable to just about every kind of damage there is, he still has to breathe at times. And it's specifically stated that Lobo has multiple times been choked out in terms of gases, incapacitated by gases, poisoned by gases in the sense of knocking him out, and more. If you recall the Superman animated series, that's what happened there. Also, in a recent Teen Titans comic, a genie named Jin used her abilities to incapacitate a Lobo from within his mind and make him forget about Crush, his daughter, who was, he was going to kill because he is the last Zarnian. So because of all this, that technically means that Lobo can be mentally incapacitated. And that's exactly what the penance stare is a mental incapacitation, because he will be seeing the sins of all the people he has hurt or killed over his life. Just the destruction of Zarnia would more than qualify for that. And while he himself may not be guilty or feel guilty, that doesn't mean that he isn't. There's a difference. Now, there is a question about the Johnny Blaze factor, because in the World War Hulk comic, Hulk beat Johnny Blaze. He hit him so hard that he beat him. But Johnny didn't die. He just got knocked out. And this is the key thing here. Johnny and Zarathos share the body, but Johnny is in control. If Zarathos is in control, he cuts loose. And by Doctor Strange's own admission, Ghost Rider is a limitless, boundless being only restricted by Johnny Blaze. Johnny Blaze is the safety on Ghost Rider. So the moment that Johnny is knocked out, which theoretically Lobo could do, Zarathos takes over and all bets are off. Okay, now he can't kill Lobo, and I fully expect the cloning thing to happen. But once that's all dealt with, it's going to be down to the penance stare. And as great as Lobo is, I do not think he can withstand the penance stare. So, based on that and certain other factors that could lend to an incapacitation, Lobo will not die. He can be incapacitated, which is a rule of death battle. You can. The question is not just death, but that of not being able to continue the fight. So, by that token, I am picking Ghost Rider to win this battle, which would mean that I am picking a Marvel character over a DC character for the first time since Black Panther Batman. Yeah. And with that, I made this episode of Todd Talk. Who do you think is going to win between Ghost Rider and Lobo? Let me know in the comments below. And how epic do you think they're going to make this battle? And do you think the penance still will work? If you think not, tell me, how do you think Ghost Rider might be able to kill Lobo? I'm very excited for this episode, and I look forward to doing the reaction video next week. So I thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I know you're listening, and I will see you around.